Good day, Africa, and welcome to another episode of Diaspora Connect. On this show, we look at the contribution of the diaspora towards development on the continent. The continent has a lot to offer. Likewise, we have a lot of problems on the continent. Fortunately, we have diasporans and individuals on the continent who are doing a lot to solve the problems of the continent. On today's show, we will be exploring, going deeper into higher education on the continent, the challenges that we face, especially with COVID, and then we explore some solutions that are coming up from the diaspora. So stay with us, we'll go for a short break, and when we come, we'll continue with the show. Welcome back. Today on Diaspora Connect, like I already introduced, we are looking at higher education in Africa. We are exploring the challenges that we face, that we've been exposed to because of COVID. Not only COVID, but we'll also be looking at the future and the existing conditions that we have turned blind eye to, and then we'll explore some solutions. To do that, I have on call Dr. Theo Udegwe. Dr. Theo is the Director for Higher Education Ally. Welcome, Dr. Theo.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad to be on this show.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Theo, so before we start, please introduce yourself, and then please tell us more about Higher Education Ally, what you do, and your contributions to the problems or challenges we have on the continent.
Thank you once again, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity. I would like to start by, telling you guys a little bit about myself and what the organization Higher Ed Ally does. So my name is Theo Udegwe, and I describe myself as a scientist. I'm a research scientist. I'm a consultant. I'm also an educator in the fields of environmental sciences, agriculture, and higher education. So I'm a little bit broad, but I see myself as I'm a scientist. So I am currently the director of Higher Ed Ally, and Higher Ed Ally is an institute. It's a higher education consulting firm, a US-based higher education consulting firm, but it's diaspora-led. So it's run by Africans in diaspora, but it's based in the US here. So what we did over the years was, to identify the problems limiting higher education in developing countries and develop proprietary programs. These programs are meticulously crafted to provide customized solutions to some of the issues limiting the growth of higher education in Africa. What I mean by customized solution is that we took into account that the strengths and limitations or weaknesses of institutions vary. So it's not one size fits all. So the problems varies. So we're able to come up with customized solutions for each individual partner institutions that we work with. So our programs are geared towards helping institutions with funding opportunity, multi-institutional collaborations, which are very, very necessary, and research publications, scientific publications are very critical. And overall, when these areas are stimulated, you can obviously tell that the visibility of the institutions partner institutions will grow. And we also help institutions to add and offer high quality and industry relevant graduate program. So these are the areas that we are focusing on, targeting institutions that we are working with, targeting opportunities for them to help them grow in this aspect. And how do we come up with this? It's through intensive research. The effort started like 5 years ago. We conducted a research, talk with administrators of different universities to know what are the things that they need. What do they think are the major factors limiting their growth? And we gather all this together, able to come up with customized programs in order to address all these limitations or challenges facing higher education in Africa. And as we go on this interview, I'm going to be telling you more.
So from what you're saying, it means that you've done a lot of research, especially on Africa's higher education landscape. So can you tell us, how do you see higher education in Africa?
Well, I will start by saying, of course, there is room for growth. Even in the developed nations, they are still striving, to grow. They are still striving to grow in higher education. I've been in the US for a long time. I work as a professor. I develop classes. I teach. I do research and so on. And every day we still compete. We still fight to grow. The same thing applies to higher education in Africa. So there is room for growth. So if you look at the indices which are used in ranking universities, if you're good in teaching or if you're good in research, let's take research for instance, if you're good in research, obviously you're going to be getting publications. And from publications, you're going to be getting citations. And from citations, you're going to have, your research is going to have value.
And commercialization.
Yes, and so on. And, so they are somewhat connected. So you cannot just isolate one part. So in terms of the direction we're going, I always ask my colleague, where are we on all this? The goal is not that we want to be Harvard, or we want to be Yale, or we want to be Oxford overnight, but there are some basic things that I believe that institutions in Africa can embrace now to start making some grassroots changes that will lead to bigger things in the future. And from our understanding, I don't think we are doing the best job, so far, but there is room for growth. There are also good examples out there. I know some faculty members who are doing great in their institutions. I know some institutions who are striving, fighting for grants, getting grants, conducting research and having a publication. But overall, I feel that there is still room for growth there.
So all right. So before COVID, we had the challenges with research. We had challenges with commercialization. We had challenges with funding. We had challenges with a lot of things, especially when you come to the higher education in Africa. And COVID came. And COVID mainly has come to impact on a lot of things, especially research. It has impacted on teaching and learning. How has this affected your view of higher education in Africa? Has it taken us back? And what will it take to bring us to the level we were and then to even propel us further ahead?
Well, that's a very good question. I will start by saying that COVID-19 was a challenge to everyone, not just Africa. I was in the US when it started, and I saw it was a challenge to everyone, higher education here in the US here, everywhere. So it was, it is a global challenge. But one thing for sure is that it came with own awareness. It created a certain level of awareness. So it makes institutions to realize, what are we doing? What have we been doing? We were not prepared for something like this, and here it is. Then going back to Africa, I would say that we were not expecting anything like that. So it was a blow, it was a major blow to higher education all over Africa. And I want to be fair to Africa because it was also a challenge to universities here, to higher education higher education institutions, even in the Western countries, because during the COVID, a lot of them realized that whatever they were doing, were not somewhat sustainable. So I would think overall that the COVID was a blow to us. It took us a step backwards, but it also came with its own awareness that it created. For instance, our attitude to online learning wasn't like this before. I remember like 2 years ago, just like 2 years ago, we created some programs here that the essence of the program is to partner with institutions back home in Africa and offer classes, in partnership with institutions. And this is going to be online. And we kind of got some code, some code feedback. Oh, online. Online was like sounding too strange then. And months later, the COVID hit. You see that? Then, now the focus, that was when everyone realized that, oh, we're not prepared to advance.
Sure.
So, I mean, the COVID-19 brought its own awareness as well, at least letting us know that our method of instruction, we need to think outside the conventional. Online instruction, it is the way to go. So yes, COVID brought us back a little bit, it took us backwards, but it also created some awareness because a lot of institutions now reach out to us to be like, hey, how can we get some online platform? Can you help us, get an online platform? And a lot of institutions that never thought of developing online teaching platform, now are thinking about it and developing that.
Okay.
I know it's going to take a little while because the infrastructures, are not sufficient in the first place. Because, for instance, internet is not a common thing in Africa. It is common, but it's still expensive. Unlike here, where it is basically everywhere, you can stay in a coffee shop and do your homework and browse and do anything. So, in terms of infrastructure, there's still some limitation. But once that awareness is created, I think that's the most important thing, the development from that.
Okay.
So I think with what we have learned from the COVID, and if we actually, put everything together, I think we're going to make more progress because a lot of institutions, for instance, now are able to add that online component to what they have, which they never thought about before.
Okay.
So overall, at the end, it's definitely going to be a plus, to Africa. We just got to make best use of the opportunity we find ourselves.
Would you say that COVID came at an opportune time? Because from your submission, you said that when you came up with the proposals, Africa, it seems we were not ready to accept these proposals. But then higher ed ally came in, and now you are advancing things. So basically, we understand that you are doing a lot in terms of online learning and then trying to transition from the traditional face-to-face learning to online learning. So besides that, what other interventions do higher education ally have, especially lined up for Africa, taking into consideration the COVID?
That is a very good question. And one thing that we have done is that, as I briefly mentioned earlier, we identified the limitations, the challenges. Luckily, we all have origin in Africa. I was born in Nigeria, and I went to high school there and undergraduate, and I came over to the United States for my master's, PhD, and after that I got a job as a professor, work in the industry, and so on. So we have a background that I would say that most people don't have. So we're a team of experts, scientists, engineers, professors, industry professionals that came together, looking at all the limitations that African universities face and design programs, to help them tackle this. So one of the areas that we have been successful in is a program area that we use to advance or boost or help institutions boost external funding opportunities. So this focus on helping institutions boost external funding opportunity, multi-institutional collaboration, that is to collaborate with other institutions. These are very vital things here. And the research, scientific publication as well. And when you do this, you're going to improve the visibility of that institution. That institution will stand a chance of getting more. I mean, we don't give money to people we don't know.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So you just need to give money to somebody you don't know, or give funding to somebody you don't know. You want to know that this person has a reputation. This person has been in that field, got established, and is visible. So eventually, it's those that have that will keep on getting. Those that don't have, if you're hiding behind, if you're not visible, you will not get. So those that are visible, they already established themselves. They will keep on getting. So one area that we have excelled in is helping institutions, source for external funding opportunities, multi-institutional collaborations, and research publications. So we have a capacity enhancement component to everything we are doing. So for instance, one of our program areas, we start by organizing a seminar exclusively designed for the partner institution on grant proposal development and multi-institutional collaboration, where we teach faculty members how to approach grant writing.
Okay.
And we don't stop there. We go further to identify viable funding opportunities, for the partner institution. And we don't even stop there. We go far as working with the institution, using our scientists, our engineers, and professors in our Scholar Alliance to work with the institutions to fulfill at least one of the grants or proposals. Then we also offer expert opinion on if they have any existing projects going on, because we have a team of scientists, a team of engineers in our network, professionals, professors, and other industry, professionals. So we use these guys to, offer these, services. So we don't stop there. We also retain these institutions in our database, put them in our database. If there is any funding opportunity that comes up, for instance, there may be a university in the United States that may be looking to work with a university in Africa. Maybe they have a project on climate change, and they want to know how the result will vary from the US to Africa. They may need a partner institution in Africa, and that's where we come in to connect, institutions in Africa with, collaboration.